It's always a pleasure to be amongst the people who are going to be the future of any industry or trade, and largely, therefore, the future of the country. That there are very big challenges in front of journalists, journalism today, democracy today, etc., etc. So, part of this journey of mine, I have seen all these kind of situations where the role of the reporter, role of the journalist, role of Sanjay of Mahabharat has to be something that actually cannot be exposed to the larger world. I give you one small example from my journey, and then we can talk of bigger issues raised by my friends about the situation of our democracy, the situation of our press. So I was in Argentina, Buenos Aires, 16 years back, 16 and a half years back actually, in 2007 March. So I don't know how many of you, all of you would be probably in preschool or kindergarten at that time. There was a very famous or rather infamous case involving Otavio Quattrocchi, and Otavio Quattrocchi was a defense middleman. He was arrested for the last time before his death in Argentina. So I was traveling to Argentina, I was alone, I was in my late 20s. And I was in an Argentinian courtroom. तो अर्जेंटीना में भी अदालतें वैसी ही होती हैं जैसे हिंदुस्तान में होती हैं. And in that courtroom, the opposing party was CBI, and I was the reporter. I was the reporter from Times Now channel. And on the other side, there was CBI, and there was an Argentinian judge. Now, the CBI wanted me out of that courtroom. They said कि साहब जब हम अपना केस प्रेजेंट करेंगे तो ये रिपोर्टर यहाँ होना नहीं चाहिए. They had a legal advisor, they had their team. I was alone. I also presented my case to the judge. Finally, judge gave a ruling that is not important. What I'm wanting to tell you all, you may not only be from journalism. मैं पहले आपके प्रोफेसर साहब से पूछ रहा था, चिटनिस जी से, कि सब लोग आप क्या जर्नलिज्म से ही हैं, तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, बाकी की फैकल्टीज से भी हैं. You may be from any field, any faculty, but this is important for you to know that this is what happened in the courtroom. People would not have been interested. Today I am telling you this to make a point. You will have to tell people what is relevant to them. तो कई बार वो जो जोशी जी ने कहा संजय की बात, वो संजय की बात रह जाती है. संजय की बात उतनी जरूरी भी नहीं होती है. हमारे लिए as professional journalist, it is important to convey what is happening in the context of what we are reporting and what is important for people to know. So that is very, very important for you to keep in mind as future craftsmen of this trade. You will have to inform necessarily people what is important for them to know in as much as possible unbiased manner. Now, that also brings me to two small things that your university has done, and I am very happy to note that. One is that there is a very good participation from the journalistic bodies here. You have Mr. Pandurang here from the local press association, club, journalist union, and the call for peace. These are two very important things. They are not related to each other, but they are very important. Remember, journalism as a profession will always face so much in scrutiny, intense scrutiny, criticism, and to an extent that almost everyone, अगर आप यहाँ से निकलेंगे ना, दरवाजे पे खड़े हुए चौकीदार से, मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि चौकीदार का मत कम इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट उसके पास में भी वो न्यूज रिपोर्ट के बारे में बोलने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ जरूर होगा. वो डॉक्टर के लिए नहीं बोलेगा, वो इंजीनियर के लिए नहीं बोलेगा, वो प्रोफेसर के लिए नहीं बोलेगा, लेकिन वो जर्नलिज्म में न्यूज की रिपोर्ट के लिए जरूर बोलेगा. उसके पास कोई ना कोई मत जरूर होगा बोलने के लिए. इसीलिए ये इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जर्नलिस्ट एक अपना एसोसिएशन रखें. उस एसोसिएशन को आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी जैसी संस्थाएं जगह दें, तरजीह दें, इंपॉर्टेंस दें. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, अच्छी बात है. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी एंड आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू योर यूनिवर्सिटी फॉर दैट. नंबर 2, पीस, जो आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी के नाम में भी है और जो आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी एस्पाउस भी करती है. it is also very important, because remember, without peace, no development is possible. Wartime reporting, going to war zones, reporting from war, and reporting about war, they may all seem very exciting things. They may all appear very glamorous on television. They may appear very glamorous on YouTube or whatever platforms you watch. But ultimately, remember that all the war reporting that is being done, all the glamour that you are seeing is at the cost of some human suffering. Human beings are suffering. Children are suffering. Women are suffering. Elderly are suffering. And therefore, nothing can be more important today in this world where we see increasing fractured polity, fractured mandates, fractured viewpoints, and fractured viewpoints to the extent that they are resulting in wars, that we espouse for peace. And for that very reason also, I must thank your university, and I must thank the organizers, promoters, funders of this university, and the people who associate with this university, that they are trying to promote peace in such a fractured world, which is a very, very noble cause. I do not bother. I have been a journalist from the age 22. And I tell people that if I were not to be a journalist, I probably today at my age have no other identity but that of as a journalist. But even then, it does not matter to me whether a university is helping journalism flourish or not. What is important for me and what I'm happy about is, and what I'm actually glad about is, that a university, an institution, is helping promote peace. Because as I said, without peace, there is no development that is possible. Without peace, good journalism is not possible. Without peace, it is impossible for people to become good citizens, first of their country, their nation, and then of the world. So for that, I thank your university. They have put some real effort behind it, and they deserve kudos for that. Coming to the point that my friends were raising about democracy, about bias in journalism or media, about challenges. Prasanna also said that we will talk about Hamas and Israel war. We will not talk about Manipur. Please remember, you are young people. Please remember one thing. Be enthusiastic about life. Be hopeful about life. There is no challenge. You know, as I told you 2 weeks back, I was at Delhi University, and the young moderator there, she would be your age, 20, 21, something like that. She asked me that with one nation, one poll, Mr. Garg, federalism would be in danger. I told her, young lady, don't bother too much about the dangers of the world. Focus on hope. Focus on promise. Focus on progress. I am not saying the challenges will not be up on the horizon, or challenges will not be there. They will always be there. But what good is human spirit? What good are you? Your parents, all of you, your parents have spent lakhs and lakhs of rupees in your education. Why are they spending lakhs and lakhs of rupees? Some of your parents, those lakhs of rupees may not mean anything. For some of your parents, those lakhs of rupees may be very, very, very big amount of their resource pool. But they are spending. They are spending the money to make you better human beings, better individuals, better professionals. So work on that. The better human being, the better professional you will become, the better you will be equipped to face all these challenges. If there are no challenges, then what is the difference between monkeys and human beings? I mean, monkeys will also live their life, and human beings will also live their life. So human beings are trained. They should be trained. They should be attuned to make their life better for the coming generations, better while they live, and therefore they must deal with challenges. What is a life without challenges? I have not known a life without challenges from the time I was 22 years of age. So therefore, all these challenges will be there. There will always be pressure on media. You go to a hospital today. and you ask the director, like Mr. Chitnis, you ask the director of the hospital or the top faculty of the hospital, he will say, अरे भाई कितना प्रेशर है आज के दिन में, छोटा सा ऑपरेशन गलत होता है तो वो बोलते हैं मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस का केस है, पुलिस का केस तो इनके ऊपर, बंद करो डॉक्टर्स के ऊपर. आज से 20 साल पहले कोई मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस का केस नहीं होता था. 20 years बैक अगर किसी की डेथ भी जाती थी तो लोग बाग डॉक्टर को हाथ जोड़ के आते थे, बोलते डॉक्टर साहब आपने जो किया वो कर सकते थे वो किया और बाकी आपका धन्यवाद. टुडे इफ somebody dies, they file a suit. They file a suit. They file a suit, they go take them to the court and say it is medical negligence, doctor. You have not attended to our patient properly. Hospital is sealed. Hospitals are sealed. So journalism is not facing any bigger challenge than any other profession. Our democracy is also not facing any bigger challenge than the rest of the world. Our federalism is also not facing any bigger challenge than the challenges across the world. You look at Nigeria today. I was just reading a report in one of the one of the African countries. There are 2-3 aid workers who have just now been killed. They have been gunned down for some aid progress, etc., etc. Keeping all that turmoil in the world, you are living in a very peaceful country. You are looking at a very bright future. I am very hopeful about India's future. I am very hopeful about your future, about the future of this institution. I am very hopeful about India's future. Now, you may have some disagreement with journalists being slapped with UAPA cases. I completely disagree with it. I wanted to actually join the protest. I could not. The Press Club of India had organized a protest. I could not, and I actually was telling one of my bureau chief that, यार हमें वहां जाना चाहिए था, जा नहीं पाए. However, again, as I said, these challenges are there for every profession. Your profession or the profession of journalism is such a profession which will always be under public scrutiny. Some people will say, why did you take foreign money if you did not have authorization? So there will be a case. Some people will say, okay, he took money, so book him for money. Why are you charging him with some other case? So there will always be challenges. Newspapers have come under pressure from the time immemorial. 1700 organized newspapers, smaller newspapers were there from the time of when proper paper was discovered, and 1400 and 1500 smaller papers started to come. They will always remain under pressure. It is the duty of a good journalist, it is the duty of a good editor to stave off those pressures, work with honesty and diligence. And that brings, my dear young friends, to most important point that I want to make today. And here is an example. I have an example, so you can ask her. Swarali, my dear young friend, is sitting there. Here is an example. She was a student of this university like you all. Today, she is a Times Network journalist. I hired her 2 years back. She is from this university. Now, the point is, she has worked in a the biggest brand of in the field of journalism in this country for 2 years. You can ask her, what pressure has she faced from me till this day? What pressure has she faced from any other person till this day? She files, what we tell her to file. She reports. The biggest challenge in every profession, every trade, every field of work is to be honest, is to be diligent. If you are honest, if you are diligent, if you are doing your job with integrity, you can ward off all pressures. All pressures. To become good students, when you get out, invest everything in becoming good professionals in what you are doing. Whatever you are doing. If you are an engineer, become the best engineer. If you are a journalist, try to become the best journalist that a company like Times of India, which is a 200-year-old company, opens a bureau especially for you in a city where it has no presence. So do your job well, work hard in life, keep your conscience clear, and the bigger problems of life will be sorted as you grow along, as you do well.